Hello Cancer, and welcome to your July 2024 forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's good to see you. This reading can always be used for sun, rising, and moon. I like to begin everything with channeled messages, so why don't we get straight into that. So the first thing that came through in dreams this morning was basically a scene out of a drama. Almost something you would see on a soap opera or maybe on a stage production. And I guess the best way to sum it up was it just felt like it was over the top, dramatic. And the plus side of this is like the spotlight was on, which is why I chose the star card. So I feel like you have a chance to really make a splash, to create an impact and a lasting impact with somebody. But the sort of dramatic piece really did catch my attention because it was almost overacting. So one piece of advice that's coming through loud and clear is you don't have to go overboard. When you think of, just conversations with friends, hanging out with loved ones, there's this sense of just being comfortable in your skin and being able to be yourself. If you have an important meeting or presentation to make, it's important to put on your best version of yourself, but also don't do anything that feels inauthentic. And sometimes when it is too much, it's almost like you're laying it on too thick. It doesn't come across in a way that people can relate to. So I would say just pull back a little bit. I love that there's this sense of wanting to do your best. That's more than enough, all right? I also got that there could be like a scene stealing sort of energy where someone could try to step in and steal the spotlight or take credit or somehow try to divert attention to them. And in that case, you definitely want to have good boundaries and just exercise your communication skills, good, like clear communication. Say, please let me finish, and then you can have the stage, and then, thank you for your feedback. Let's table that until this presentation is over. Whatever you want to do, if it's that kind of thing. If it's someone in your life, that's like a work example. Let's say you just you accomplished something amazing. You graduated from school, or you have good news, you just got married, or you've done something that you've set out to do for a long time, and it just feels good and you want to share it with someone, and they try to diminish that by trying to compare something that they've done or whatever. First and foremost, that just kind of helps you see who you can count on and identify any jealousy. And remember that it typically comes from a place of like a lack of confidence on their part. So don't let it in any way, shape, or form, diminish or deflate your sort of feeling of accomplishment, okay? At the very end, those two bullets are key. Stay authentic and avoid making something bigger than it needs to be. The stage, the spotlight, it's great. And this is a time for you to basically stick to being you and yourself alone. All right, that's it. Keeping the drama in check. The next thing that I saw was someone who had taken a bite out of something and it was too much to the point they were having difficulty chewing and swallowing it. And so we can abstract this a bit and look simply at any new task that you're trying to do, whether it's learning something or you're trying to change up something like exercise or diet, or you're just trying to wrap your head around something and you wish that it would all happen at once. Just like our body, we can't take a sandwich and eat it whole. We have to take a bunch of little bites. We should enjoy the process as we're doing it. It's going to be easier. We're going to be able to digest it easier. And the same thing is true when you're learning, when you're creating, when you're trying to make changes. Smaller, more sustainable bites, and in the long run, that's going to help you get more out of the experience and do it more successfully. Too much too quickly equals burnout or frustration. So a couple of tips on how to be successful, and we have the Fool here, just one step at a time. So we have the spotlight shining, just be yourself. Don't get nervous. Don't let your nerves put you in a space where you're trying to overcompensate. And one step at a time towards change or movement. And again, if there is anybody that tries to steal the scene, hold your ground, push that to, sort of energy to the side, finish what you need to do, and then let that person do what they need. But that's basically what I got here. I feel like it's a good month. The fact that spotlight energy is coming through at all means that many of you might have a chance to excel in work, in love, in life. And now we're going to shuffle the cards and see where those energies are. Okay, so I'll especially keep an eye out for star and Fool opportunities. Let's turn the camera down and give the cards a shuffle. Let's take a moment to tune in, close your eyes, clear any thoughts that might be currently kind of ricocheting through your mind, and instead set the intention to receive the highest guidance, we'll welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. Take a deep breath and let's begin. We got that star power coming through in the crowning position. So that's a beautiful synchronicity right off the start. Very interesting that we have Saturn, which is a teacher, Judgment, which is often a karmic lesson, and we see a release to that lesson already, which is very good. All right, let's get started. We're going to begin first and foremost with your catalyst card, Saturn. Whenever Saturn comes through, there's typically a pivotal lesson that needs to be sort of addressed or learned or even released. When you finally figured something out, it's sort of like, we're done with that now, right? It's definitely a card that focuses on power, empowerment, authority. And it's really interesting if we just take a look at the spread here, because we have the Hierophant coming in, definitely connected to that, and Judgment. So some of you may be deciding to step up into a role of authority or autonomy. You may be deciding to step into that spotlight. And in this sort of part of your life, we also have Strength. These are such power cards, right? So if there's ever been this feeling in the past where you thought to yourself, I don't know if I can do it, I don't see that at all now. Now I see you're very capable, you're very aware. And some of you might have to have like one final moment where you're standing up to authority or kind of like stating what it is that you want. But this time it seems to stick. So I like that. And again, the Judgment card in general represents an end of that Saturn lesson. So let's embrace that. I know we love all of the cards and all of the planets, but Saturn is one where sometimes it's like, when will this be over? I feel like this month it's coming to a close. And you definitely are in a better trajectory. Okay, let's begin with your centermost card. We have the Eight of Cups coming through, which is also a cyclical card, just like the Wheel of Fortune. So this month is very much about making and breaking cycles. This particular illustration of the Eight of Cups is so beautiful. We can just see all of the abundance, all of the opportunity. And in this cycle, in this new sort of chapter of your life, what we're seeing is things changing again for the better, especially with the Wheel of Fortune here in the environment. Everything has cycles, things come and go. You're just on the precipice of this nice reset. And are you ready? That's the main thing that I would start this with. Some of you may need a vacation. The Eight of Cups, as traditionally illustrated in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, shows someone stepping back, getting some perspective, so that they can actually see all of this opportunity, all of the abundance. We still see the water in this card, so they actually did a great job reinterpreting it. So if you take a moment to take some time off, it can be a day, it can be an hour, it can be a week, whatever your time and budget and schedule allows. Really look at where the energy is flowing to. Are you constantly having to like swim upstream or force things? If so, it might be time to pivot and try something different. If things are starting to get easier, you're starting to feel pulled in a different direction, follow the flow. And that would be also like the first big thing coming through in my head from Spirit is follow the flow of the energy. You're getting a second chance at some things. And if something was hard before, it doesn't have to be hard this time around. What a powerful message to begin the reading with. Let's see what card was crossing that. We have the Queen of Swords. This is about your voice and your action. And you can also, again, we have starts and stops because Medusa is there. If there's something that you don't want, one word can stop it: no. If there's something you do want, speak up, say yes. We don't have to use tons and tons of words. It's the delivery and it's the belief in the word that give it power. And that's what's magical about communication. I mean, when we think of prayers, incantations, and spells, they're just words, folks. I mean, all of them are just a bunch of words, but what makes them powerful is belief. Magic is believing, and believing is magic. So believe in what you have to say, believe it when you're doing it, and then other people are going to see the wisdom and they're going to feel the magic and things are going to happen. Your words carry weight, your actions carry weight, and in a very positive way. Use both wisely, okay? And that's what's crossing that. And if you need a break, ask for it. If you want to change something, change it. We have like Athena, it really looks like Athena here because of the owl. And again, bringing a stop to something that you don't want or starting something that you do. Beautiful energy right at the center. What's going on in the deep past? Well, for some of you, there's a divine partnership that is starting to come together. So if you've been seeking out that kind of partnership, whether it's a friend, a lover, or a business partner, we have King of Swords, Queen of Swords, divinely decreed, the Star and the Judgment card. Again, very powerful connection coming through. Past life, higher energy. I like it. If you're trying to manifest something this month, you've got it. You also already have all that it takes here. It's just a matter of taking action and speaking up. With the King of Swords in the reverse sort of position here in the deep past, some of you may also be looking at reclamation here. Look at this person pulling the sword from the king. If there's I talked about stealing a spotlight or someone kind of stepping into your energy. If that happened before, or if you've in the past just thought, I wish I would have said something, I wish I would have done something, this month cyclically gives you a chance to say what you need to say. It's also a great time to clear the air. So this could simply be taking back a moment where someone dismissed you and you're like, you know what, I actually do need to say this. And you don't have to agree, but you do have to listen. Sometimes we have to say this to parents or friends or anybody who has crossed a line. And it's so that you can get your voice back and so that you can feel a sense of closure, you know? And if you can't get that in real time, you can also do it through a letter. Whether they read it or not, it doesn't matter. Remember, the power of your sort of words are what you're infusing into them. So just the act of writing it and delivering it, karmically, cosmically, you did everything you need to. If the other person won't receive it, it's on them, but at least you've ended the karmic cycle from your perspective. This is also about just being brief, concise, and to the point. And of course, any sort of court card in the suit of swords that's reversed can also be like changing mind, changing course, changing action. So this might be a time where you're just doing any one of those if it feels right. And as a little bit of a fast forward here, as we're looking at wealth, you got to follow your heart. And it's coming through loud and clear there. So as long as you're doing that, you're in a good space. One of the first challenges this month could be your physical strength. We can read strength at face value. And so for some of you, you could be feeling a sense of fatigue. Maybe there's someone or something in your life that has just taken a little bit more energy than you anticipated. In this moment especially, it's going to be important for you, just like I talked about here a moment ago, to take a step back and basically reset. If we take a look at the traditional strength card, we can see someone with great effort being able to control, change, or somehow affect an outcome, oftentimes by getting someone to play along or buy into something. The strength card is ultimately victorious, but it is exhausting nonetheless. You wouldn't want to have to do this for an extended period of time. I always see this as a short-term gain, a necessary sort of step, but not something that you're going to do time and again. What happens if you keep doing that is fatigue. It costs more. There's more energetic output than there is a return. What we see in this card is the best way to approach it. We have two equals here. Neither one is dominating or struggling against the other one. It may take a little bit of time to get into that space, and sometimes we're with the wrong person or we're in the wrong environment because they're not celebrating or embracing or even showing us that this is possible. So we want to seek out equal energy, equity. And again, like return on your energetic investment. If it's not there in a relationship, in a job, anything that you're putting your energy into, let it go. Because although you may get your way or you may be able to push through in this moment, sometimes when you win, you lose. And in this case, you're losing energy, and we don't want that to happen. So I think that there may be something where you've already proven a point, maybe to yourself or to others. You got bigger, better things waiting for you. Let's look at your crowning card, speaking of which. We have one of the most beautiful star cards here because we see the connection to source or spirit. And as I look at this, something comes to me, which is you're more than enough, exactly as you are. You don't have to overdo it. You don't have to underdo it. So with a star reverse, sometimes it's about dimming one's light, or like I was talking about in channeled messages, it can be overcompensation and trying to put on too big of a show. Neither. You don't have to do either of those. Just be yourself and shine brightly in that truth. The people that love you unconditionally will celebrate it. The people who are fair weather friends or want you to only be a certain way in order for them to love you, let them kind of go whichever way they need to. Let the water take them where it needs to go. You are really deserving in this moment of shining in your integrity and your authenticity and feeling a sense of completeness and fulfillment. That's everything that the star is. So absolutely in this moment, don't diminish your light, but also don't go overboard. You're perfect just as is. As long as you're kind of, again, illustrating and emanating that authentic self. Let things come to you. The star card knows its power. The sun is a star. All stars basically are these magnets that hold everything. Well, not literally a magnet, but they have gravity. They're very big objects, and they pull everything in toward them. And so you have the ability, if you stand still, if you sit in your power for a second, to allow things to come to you in this month too, rather than chasing them, rather than trying to fix them or to control them. Just be the star. Let things come to you. Okay? Let's see what's going on here in the near future. So some of the fatigue is coming from stress or stress management or a lack thereof. In particular, some of you may not be getting the sleep that you need. And when you do sleep, maybe the quality isn't what it should be. This can, of course, be because of work. It can be thoughts that are creeping into your head just about the time that you're putting your head down on the pillow. This is also just, if you were going to get a swords card, the 9 of Swords is pretty manageable because it's never as bad as it seems. It's just, and I say just in a kind of comparing it to 10 of Swords energy, it's more in the head space. So sometimes we will continue to build anxiety, or you're stacking the swords in your head bigger than they need to be. So when that comes through, tomorrow's a reset. Every tomorrow is a reset for you, no matter when you're watching this. So you get a chance to try it all again and possibly do better. Let the day begin with a clean slate. Rather than taking all the troubles with you and allowing them to amplify over the night, just as you go to bed, what you can do as a mantra is say, I did everything I could today. And even if I didn't, I'm letting it go, so tomorrow I can do even better. And that's all you can ask of yourself. Just try better. Try to do better tomorrow. And as long as you're doing that, you're always succeeding. And at the very least, just be open to an improvement tomorrow. And that's how I would kind of deal with this. We'll look at this more when we talk about health, but there could be other things that could be adding to insomnia. If you're drinking too much coffee, if there's any hormonal changes, obviously stress and emotional things can be leading into this as well. So if it's something that's persistent, you'll want to talk to someone. But this might just be one punctuated moment, especially if you've got a big decision to sort of make this month. So take a deep breath. You're going to be all right based on what I'm seeing in this spread here. Looking at you, we have the King of Pentacles. What a great energy to come through as a representation of self. The King is reversed. So this is a month where all of this abundance and opportunity that's flowing through the card, you may decide to kind of say, you know what, I want to develop something in my life. You could be going back to school. You could be learning something new. You could be asking someone to take care of you or to support you, because this is one of the paternal cards here. King and Queen of Pentacles are like mom and dad when we're looking at the minor arcana. and they're very nurturing, they're very giving, they're very abundant. But when reversed, it's sort of saying, I need this, help me with this, or I want to do this for myself. So the focus is on self-improvement. The opportunity is articulating what it is that you need or want. And the outcome in this is pretty good because we do see judgment, rebirth. And there's a couple of steps in between. And one of them is, again, taking this resource and possibly pulling it inward. So if you've been saving up for something, a trip, or school, or an investment, or something that's really important, we see then the wheel turning or slowing down for a moment while you're taking some of that and reallocating it. So I definitely see that. Sometimes it can freak you out because it's so much better just to see the numbers increasing, but there's always points in your life where you're going to have to spend a little bit. Like I said, school, health, children, whatever, buying a house. There are things where you make a decision to invest in yourself, and that seems pretty solid based on what I'm looking at here. If something wasn't working, we see a shift. If something was abundant, we see a little bit of a dip, but the reminder here is that the wheel keeps turning. And the important thing here for you is to keep focusing on the next step. There is also one thing that's coming through in real time here, which is not to get complacent. One of the keys to being successful in life is constantly exploring new things and being open to not rinsing and repeating, okay? Don't let your current place in the Wheel of Fortune either get you down or get you in a complacent energy. It's always about movement. You're not going to be stuck there for too long. So stay awake, stay inspired, and as long as you're doing that, you should be all right. There could be a change of career for some of you. There could be an unexpected cost that isn't just about, developing yourself or something. This can represent the home. So there could be something like reparation that needs to happen, repairing the roof, fixing the plumbing, because we had a water card here, doing some preventative maintenance. There's nothing, we didn't get the Tower or the Devil here, but it just feels like there's some stuff that you need to address. That's part of anything, owning a car, owning a house, or just dealing with your health. Things pop up, okay? It is not unmanageable based on what I'm seeing, but it could create some stress. So take it one breath at a time, one step at a time. Your power this month is in getting organized, your structure. The Hierophant is one of the most traditional, organized, sort of like in the box sort of way of doing something. Very traditional, very by the book. So some of you may find that there is something in that approach that you can actually benefit from. I'm all about out of the box thinking and trying something new, but I also think in this case, you may not have to reinvent the Wheel of Fortune. So if you're starting up a business or if you're trying something new, do yourself a favor, talk to people who have been through it. Look at the research out there. Really save yourself some time by figuring out what hasn't worked, what has worked, and then put your special sort of sauce and approach into that. This can be a deepening of a spiritual practice in any way, shape, or form. This is a boss card. It's showing that people are looking to you for advice, and you definitely have what it takes to sit in that spotlight for a second if you need to, okay? There are a lot of power cards here, so as we look at work later, I'm going to see how those power dynamics will play out. But before we get into all of that, let's talk about your outcome. So if we look at this in the upright, we can see this cute little kid shining in the spotlight, and then in the reverse state, it's sort of like, are you ready? Are you ready to be seen? Are you ready to let go of something? And most importantly, are you ready to answer the call? I love this traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card because we see Gabriel there really sort of putting it out there and saying, it's now or never, are you ready? The scary thing though is the process of sort of death and rebirth, transformation that we see on this. And the reward is the world though. Absolute expansion, freedom from the Saturn lesson that might be coming through. So if you're ready to release it, Saturn's ready, Judgment's ready to help you out with this. And then what we see in this card is a focus on the rebirth, which is always a part of this. But letting go is hard. Letting go of something that once served you but doesn't anymore, whether it's a way of living, a person, some sort of activity, or even an addiction, whatever it is, we sometimes wear those things like a blanket. I encourage you to release that blanket and just step into something new. Okay, let's go a little deeper and take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We'll get started with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. This was a gentle message here. Honesty and communication. I feel like it's perfectly aligned to all the stuff I've been talking about with the star, that you don't have to like over or underdo it. You're enough. And that honesty is going to make you happier and healthier, because this did come through in health. Communicating wishes and desires. Reclaiming power. Stating limits as well. So powerful, so important, and it comes from communication. So be honest. One thing that you can do if there's a difficult conversation that's at hand, maybe someone asks you for feedback and you have constructive criticism to give, you can ask how they want you to show up. Just say, do you want my honest opinion, or do you just need some support or a listening ear? Figure out what's the safe zone there and how far they want you to go when it comes to feedback. And always begin with asking questions before jumping to an assumption, like help me understand what you were trying to do and how we got here, and get a clear vision of what it is that they're attempting, and then you can give the feedback. That's going to help you in the long run as well. But be honest with yourself too. Are you finished with something? Do you want something? If so, you really have to listen to your heart. We'll talk more about that in wealth in a moment, but in general, love yourself, listen to yourself, and then communicate with that same integrity and honesty. All right, shifting just to the cards now. Let's see what additional messages are coming through in the energy of the cards. Again, standard disclaimer, if you're going through any health problems, work with your professional, but I'm going to help you see what might be affecting your mind, body, and spirit. Okay, so fatigue, sleeplessness. We talked about this. These two feed into each other. This could also be taking on too much, the strength card. Let go of some things, let other people step in, and also give people a chance to show up in the way that you need them. So those of you that have like an overbearing mother, brother, sister, boss, or whatever, you know how tough this is, because you might be like the lion here, wanting to just show that you're strong. But if they're constantly second guessing your moves, it's hard. So if someone's doing that in your life, push back, create some space, say, let me do this. I've got this. And if someone in your life seems to be struggling to be independent, give them their independence. They can always come back if they need help. Save your energy for other things. We have a lot of communication cards here. Even this one is about communication. Throat chakra, of course, with these king and queen cards, and this oracle card is coming through. Be kind to your vocal cords, to your it'd be vocal cords, esophagus, tonsils, everything here that would be associated with communication. Take care of it. And even the mouth, because I was watching someone chew. So if it's been a minute since you've gone to the dentist, etc., now is the time to take proper care. The environment in which you sleep is important. We can actually see these swords are coming through from a Venetian blind. It's a pretty cool illustration. So there's a bright light and they're coming through as a reflection of that. So if you're in a room where color theory is really important, like what is the color of the paint on the walls? Neutral's better, or cooling energy is kind of better. So like white, gray, blue, green. These are nice, soft, neutral colors that are not going to create that much sort of like energy in the mind space. If you have really bright, vibrant colors in the bedroom, it's a little harder to get to rest. So go for the smoother, cooler, soothing colors and see if that doesn't make a difference. If it's been a while since you've changed the bedding, that holds energy, wash it, and then you can use it again. But better yet, maybe put some new bedding down, because that can reset your energy as well. It's subtle, but it can make a big difference as well. Let's see what else is coming through here. This card is overindulgent. It's typically in food, not drink. So King of Cups is usually like overdoing it in drink or alcohol or sugar. This one can just be too much of everything. So just pull back a little bit. It can also be overwork, by the way. So overworking, overeating, please avoid that. Obviously, that's not going to be ideal. You get a second chance this month if there was something that you were doing and the doctor says like it's a wake-up call or something. Judgment is still a chance to turn a new corner. and do better. Remember what I was talking about. So I think that's everything here. A little bit of strength training. Some of you may decide to work out, sort of like work on building your muscles. This can happen. You don't have to just do like, weightlifting. I've recently joined a Pilates studio and I love that. Yoga is great. There's so many different ways that you can work on that without putting a lot of stress and strain on your body, particularly if you have arthritis or aches and pains or any injuries. Just gentle is better. Water, because we have the Eight of Cups, swimming is also a nice low impact way to do it. Okay, let's transition into wealth, your resources, your life purpose, and your career. I love this illustration. Follow your heart. Pay attention to your passion. Your ability to be just enthusiastic, charismatic, joyful. It's one of the best salesman sort of things that you can do if you're trying to sell a product or if you're trying to market something. If you believe it, if you feel it, that and authentically so, that's the best form of endorsement. So love what you're doing, love who you're with, and if you don't, figure out how you can get into that energy of love and passion just a little bit more, okay? If your heart isn't happy, find a way this month to gently start to change the direction of the Wheel of Fortune. So we can almost imagine that the Wheel of Fortune is the helm of a ship, and you're starting to take the captain's wheel and turn it around. Obviously, I got my terminology wrong because I'm not a captain, but you know what I'm talking about. Take the wheel, turn it. It takes time. The bigger the ship, the longer you've been on a path, the longer it may take for all of the effects of the initial cranking of the wheel to happen. So initially you state what you want, you take the first steps, and then it starts to happen. Days, weeks, months start to pass and you start to see the effects of this. So be patient with yourself. I think that's what I'm trying to say here. Just be patient with yourself. The more you've invested, the longer it can take, but also the more fulfilling the change will be when it happens. So I'm now at the process where I'm just a year shy of a decade that I've been doing this here. I can't believe that. But it took a while, a decent while for me to figure out who I was, what I wanted to do, how I was going to do it. Don't rush. Just have some fun in the creative process. It will happen. Just take it one bite at a time. All right, let's break it down into 3 categories. Those who are working, job seekers, and then students and retirees. If you're working, here's what I see. I'm validating that some of you are just feeling a lot of stress, a decent amount of, intensity right now, but it is paying off here. Your hard work, I should say, not the stress itself. The Star card, the Hierophant, and the Judgment, you have a moment here where you could completely step into a new stratosphere. The important thing here is let people know what it is that you want. What are you looking for? Let them know what's in your heart. We have King and Queen of Swords. You actually might have someone who can help you bring it into fruition, breathe life into it, a partner, business partner, life partner. You have help this month if you want it. You also have what it takes to meet the competition. So the Strength card, like I said, is victorious. This may be a moment where you have to push just a little bit, but the payoff's worth it. I see improvement for many of you in finances. For some of you, you may have to invest a little bit. You might be deciding to go back to school, or you might be upgrading your wardrobe, or you may be purchasing some equipment. As long as it has a tangible return, it looks good. We have power cards in the outcome. I think it's great this month. I see even the Judgment card as shattering of the glass ceiling. So like I said, if something didn't work out in the past, this time the opportunity is knocking again and you can make it work. The Eight of Cups can be a second chance. You have to believe, though. This is the key here. If you don't believe that you've changed or that you're more deserving, that spotlight will go on to somebody else. And that I did see that sort of energy of someone that's they're competing for the spotlight with you. So you've earned this moment, believe in it, step into it, bask in that spotlight, and I feel like some great stuff can come forth for you. Let me see if there's any challenges. Just not letting stress get the better of you, not trying to overcompensate or to change to sort of like be successful. Your success is in your authenticity. There are going to be some traditional it is sort of like traditional things that you'll have to meet up to, But you can then, once you go through this one gatekeeper, it looks like you'll have a chance whenever you get that position or that opportunity to reshape it into something that feels better for you. I feel like for the most part, you're in a good space. The only thing with judgment in the outcome is for some of you, there could be an unavoidable yet very significant change coming through. Judgment can show like that a company, if you're a part of something bigger, could be merging or be sold off, or there could be a change of management. You may also be asked to step into a radically different role. I don't see that there's danger per se, but there could be difficulty in like, you thought, well, I didn't sign up for this. You have to decide if it's still what your heart desires, okay? This is what it's all coming back to, is if it feels good here, you can do whatever you set your mind to. Job seekers, can you find a job? Yes, you can. There's competition, but you can find it. You're coming out really, really strong. Just remember what I said earlier, to have just enough of the sort of presentation skills to shine, but not to sort of like go on too strong or into an inauthentic state. So be yourself. There may be a little bit of back and forth when it comes to negotiation of a contract. We have two figures on here, so maybe 2 back and forth meetings. Might take 2 times for you to get what you're looking for. Try to be realistic in your initial request, not to go way over. And I do see ultimately something coming through to fruition. Some of you want to change path. This is true of both those that are working, but especially job seekers. Judgment is saying, I've done that other thing before. I want to try something else. Yes, now's the time to do it, especially with the star card here. So don't be afraid to try something completely new. Saturn could also be connected to going to school or working in academia. All of that could portend good things. Let me see what else is coming through here. There could be, for some of you, the only challenge I'm seeing for job seekers is if you have any sort of freelance work. 8 of Cups can be hot and cold or start and stop. It's not like the commitment that you're looking for. They'll say, yeah, we need someone for 3 weeks or 3 months or half a year, and then we'll review. So if you have the capacity to say after that, the opportunity to go full time or something like that, or to extend it at the beginning, do that. Otherwise, it's kind of like hot and cold, on and off, and that can be annoying when you're trying to fill up your schedule. And that's pretty much everything that I see with respect to job seekers. I like the network. Like, you should, if you have any existing friends, family, or colleagues out there that can help you get through the gatekeeper here, that's going to be key. The King and Queen of Swords especially. So someone that can get the resume to the job, to the decider, rather than someone that's just sitting there looking for some sort of cookie cutter version of what has always been. So having an in is helpful. Having something unique and defining is also helpful, as long as it is authentic. Okay? Students, you're fine. Just stress management. Obviously, money makes a lot of sense when you're paying for school and paying for any sort of training experience, but the star card is what I would hope and expect to see here. Judgment's kind of interesting. With judgment, especially reversed, if you're just starting a program or looking at places you want to go to school, look for ones that have emerging degrees. So back in the day when I went to school, the internet was still fairly young. That dates me a bit. But I sought out especially for my graduate program, I wanted to find, it was called New Media. Now it's just like digital, whatever. But like at the time it was cutting edge. So there are only a few schools in this part of the world that were doing it right now in the US. So I found like half a dozen that had new media programs back in the late 90s. And I said, okay, I'm going to go to that one. And I liked it because of the size, the technology, the location, and it was perfect and it worked. But I was looking for something that wasn't out there in other schools. Judgment reversed, even judgment upright, is groundbreaking. It's literally groundbreaking. The souls are coming through the earth. So you're looking for something groundbreaking. If you don't have something that changes, that is a little bit different, and then don't do it. It has to fit your criteria. I hope that makes sense. For everybody else, don't second guess your decision. This is true of everyone, but especially students. Trust your heart. We'll always go back to this oracle card. Okay, now for the retirees. Judgment takes on a different sort of energy for you. You're looking at life and you're thinking, what haven't I done? What's on my to-do list? And if I haven't done it, when am I going to do it? The answer is now. And for some of you, it's having fun, stepping into the spotlight, doing something that you never had a chance to before because maybe parents said you couldn't. Maybe you put things on hold so you could raise a family or do something else. The star is a very creative energy. So this could be performing in the arts, learning something, arts, crafts, or even like, again, a spiritual path. It's way out there. Literally, it's reaching for the stars. Do it. Now is the time to do something very, very bold. It does not have to have any grounding in reality. It's because you want to do it, or anything that is going to tangibly bring you money. This is an experience for the sake of having an experience. It is important in this moment in time to take care of your health and your stress right now. So for some of you, increasing your meditation and your spiritual sort of journey definitely could be a part of this as well. All right, let's go ahead and move on to love and relationships. So we have a card here that I would connect with death and rebirth. Ravens and crows are basically messengers from beyond, but definitely would connect to the death card. So for some of you, when we're looking at relationships, it's time for them to level up, to change. Either they're going to move to the next level, or they're going to go wherever the water takes them, as we saw with the Eight of Cups. So that's what I'm seeing here. Necessary change and leveling up, or you're freeing up the sort of playing field for new energies to come through. Let's break it down and get some clarity. We'll look at those that are already in a relationship, those that might be seeking out love, and then those that are happily single. If you're in a relationship, I saw the divine partnership here and here. I see communication being exactly where I want it for the most part. And I also see past life energy. It's a rich and deep connection. Where are the areas where things could be challenging and what's good? We'll start with challenges, then we'll look at the plus sort of side of all of this. One of you is a better communicator, one's a little bit better at listening. So making sure that both parties have a chance to speak and to speak frankly. That's going to be important, but at least the communication's open. So practice better listening if you do most of the speaking. Ask questions if your partner usually is the one that's just listening, so that everybody has a moment. I think that, as I was talking about here, the need to not always... One of you likes to be right a lot. Maybe both of you have a really strong energy, because Hierophant and Strength, very stubborn, very clear that they're both going to win. There has to be a little bit of, compromise in the middle. If you're stressed, don't communicate. I think it's good to go get some fresh air, as we saw with this. Like, a change of scenery can also clear your mind. So take a break, take a breather before you communicate any grievances, or even just share what's been going on in the day. Get your energy in a grounded space. Overall, it's actually pretty good. I think the positives here are, I like how strong both of you are. I like that the communication is open. And I love that there is something even beyond sort of like whatever brought you together. There's a deeper connection here. One partner may be very much on the rise with the star, and the other one may be feeling, how do I measure up, or why isn't this happening for me? A couple of signs ago, I was talking about life is not a flat line, that if you were taking someone's heart and there's no ups and downs, it's basically that they're not alive. So we have high moments, we have lower moments, and we have times in between. So you may be here, your partner may be here, or vice versa. That's just part of the experience of life. You celebrate and support each other in the highs and the lows. And as long as you can do that, you'll be fine. Sometimes you're both in the high at the same time. Sometimes you're both lower, but I'm getting a little bit of a disconnect this month, so try to meet each other in the middle. Looking at those that are seeking out love, there is an opportunity to find a really deep soul connection. I don't use soulmate on this channel. I don't really talk about twin flames, but I like to look at binary stars or past life karma. That's kind of what I'm seeing here, is two very vibrant souls that it's not your first time around the block, and I think you've known each other before. We have similar energy here with an air sign possibly coming through. There could also be a Leo. There's an earth sign. You have a lot of options here. So in the deep past, an air sign could be coming back. Recently, there could be a Leo that is still coming into the picture. Presently, we see more of an earth sign. What are you looking for? What is it that you want in this moment? When it gets that scattered, I always come through and I'm like, clarify the message. And that's the Raven too. The Raven wants to really just communicate what it is that you want. Like, say it to spirit, say it to your higher self, set it out there as a sort of like a vision, and then say, I'm ready, let's receive. I'm ready to receive love, abundance, and opportunity in the highest forms. Not only are you ready, but you're also worthy of receiving that. Something that I've added this year, and I think it's the most important thing, the feeling of being, worthy and ready. Okay, let's see if there's anything else here. You're busy. Many of you you've got a lot on your plate and you're tired. So take care of your general health and well-being. There's a lot of focus on wealth and money as well. The person that you pull into your life also right now could be very traditional. That could be at odds with you, or vice versa. Maybe you're very traditional, but you pull in someone who has a very flexible view on life. It's very sort of progressive. So again, trying to meet in the middle is going to be key. All right, looking at those who are single and happy, good for you. Spiritual development, organizational skills, self-development, those things are coming through loud and clear. Mediumship, the Raven can represent some of you working on mediumship, really trying to get in touch with not just your spiritual side, but spirit as well. Overall, I feel like you can make leaps and bounds this month, exit the month in an entirely sort of new sphere. So this is a great time to make necessary changes, launch something important if you want to, and if you're unencumbered by a relationship, it can go even further. So there you go. Let's move on to the Destiny card. We have Odin here. Odin in reverse is literally the Hanged Man. So Odin is the figure that is on the Hanged Man upside down. He was hanging from the tree of knowledge, rather, and he was there so that he could understand the secrets of the runes. So if Odin is reversed or is upside down, it's this Saturn lesson coming through. And this is your moment to really make sure that if you said you were going to do something, you did it. If there's something that has repeated itself cyclically, you're recognizing it and ending it. And if there's something that you want, you're speaking up and you're finding your strength and your power. Odin, of course, is the All-Father, very powerful, divine paternal sort of energy, and divine masculine. And so if there's something that you want to take to the next level, this is also divine masculine energy. It's a chance for you to be active, to speak up, to take action, and to make a difference. Okay? Forge something new if you need to. Let's extend this now to look at sun, rising, and moon sign messages, and then we'll look at the final card. Sun, rising, and moon. Powerful energy as we look at the sun sign messages. We have death reversed. This is not just a traditional death card, though. The skeleton holds a key. You hold the key to make whatever change it is that you want, to basically initiate it, to make it happen. It's just a matter, kind of like when you're in a car. Now they're mostly power, I know, but back in the day you had to turn the ignition. So this is very much turning the ignition or pushing the power button in new cars. Are you ready for that? If you are, change is here. Change is underway. This is also rebirth. Death reversed is basically coming through any sort of stagnation and basically allowing yourself to just try on a new persona, try on something different, try out something that you've never done before. Reinvention, reimagination, everything that is part of the Judgment card. As long as you're following your heart. As long as this is authentically you. Believing it is seeing it. And this is the time to basically become the butterfly, because that also is death. Exiting from that sort of chrysalis and spreading your wings. So something's coming to a close, but many other doors are opening up with this. Could be an end of a relationship, could be end of a job, could be you deciding to step aside from something. There could be a literal loss in your life, loss of a loved one, but there is a chance here for you to figure out who you truly are in this process, which is pretty exciting. Embrace the change is the main message here. For rising sign, we have Four of Pentacles. This is actually a pretty cool Four of Pentacles. The traditional one shows someone holding on to something. I call it the devil you know. In this one, it's saying start to build a new firm foundation. This reminds me a little bit more of what we might see in the Thoth deck. So we have these little sand castles. We're looking at the four corners. And the main message in this is whatever you have in front of you is just the beginning. So don't limit yourself simply by what you see in front of you. Know that more can be built, more will be built. So really lean into your imagination and see what possibilities present themselves. In Cancer Moon, we have the Page of Wands, and he's striking lightning, almost striking gold when I'm looking at this. You have a chance not to wait for lightning to strike, not to wait for something to happen, but to be the one that initiates it. You're the spark, you're the fire, you're the inspiration. And Wands is always fiery energy, but especially here. He's saying, you know what? I'm going to shake things up a little bit. Sometimes I'm going to even irritate people a little bit because I'm going to say or do what needs to be said or done. Pages communicate, but a Page of Wands also demonstrates. So a picture's worth 1,000 words. So if there's a way to convey this through a prototype or demonstration or picture or pointing to a real life example, that is a great way to get your point across as well. Stay open. Page of Wands is one of the easiest to inspire cards simply by getting out there and basically consuming something that is inspirational. So whether that's music, art, reading, research, you're very able to kind of like take that and jump to the next sort of level here. So inspire yourself with however you kind of need to do that this month. It's going to be really powerful. And you can inspire others as well. So there you go. I love this page. And page also has the ability to take something and bring it to that next level. Lots of leveling up sort of messages as we look at everything, especially the sun, rising, and moon sign messages. Okay, let's do one more card for today. This is going to be anything that I haven't yet asked. If you have a burning question, something that you need clarity on, this is your moment to see what Spirit has to say. Four of Cups. This is a chance for you to really take a look at a hidden blessing, something that's in disguise. So what this one shows us is that one cup is not like the others. Usually that cup is floating in the sky, but I like the way this is illustrated because you may be discounting a person or an opportunity simply because it wasn't how you dreamed it would be. You always told yourself that someone would show up in a certain way or something would happen at a certain time. Lo and behold, the universe says, guess what? I'm going to give it to you now because this is an upgrade or this is going to be a better experience. Don't discount this or ignore it just because it doesn't fit the mold. There's a hidden blessing. This card also represents someone who's comparing themselves to others and sometimes feeling frustrated because they're not measuring up to that expectation. Again, it's not about what you expected. It's about what life is presenting in front of you now and what you can do with that. As a yes or no, it's really more nuanced than that, folks. It's yes, ... but you're probably missing something. Take another moment, just like we talked about the Hanged Man. Take a moment and really make sure that you're looking at it from all angles, that you've slept on a major decision before making it, and then and only then proceed. Because I feel like something could go even a level bigger, level up, or could be something that you're underestimating. So just take a moment to really soak it all in, okay? And that, my friends, is everything for today. If you enjoyed this, please do me a favor, like and subscribe. It's free. It helps the channel grow, and it allows me to see what is really resonating with you. Give me a follow on social media as well. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all the major platforms. If you want to show support, you can do it right here on YouTube through Super Stickers, Super Chat, and also through memberships. Keep an eye out when you are on social media. Make sure that If anyone ever offers you a direct message or reading or anything of that nature, block and report. I don't do that on social media. The only way to interact with me is on a live stream here on YouTube. So stay safe, everyone. And that's it. Thank you. Thanks for spending the last 50 or so minutes with me. Thanks for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube and allowing me to be a channel for information. In the meantime, I just wish you all the best. I'll see you soon. Take care.